Hey guys, what's up? This is Corey, and welcome back to FarmCraft. So, there is a cow that's been roaming around here, and it was in a tree last time, I think. Anyways, last time, we went over here and made ourselves an awesome pumpkin farm, which is going to be producing lots of pumpkins once all these stems are done growing. And we still got the wheat farm, and the chicken farm is doing very well. Let's go ahead and make a quick harvest here, why not? Let's go around, and don't have a whole lot of eggs, only 5. And no babies. Oh well, I'll still kill a couple adults just because I can. Or 3, why not? 1 for the road. Okay, moving along. Can do that, and of course this wheat is almost completely done. And that turns out to be a pain in the butt to harvest, going around clicking on all those wheat. And there is a better way to do that, and there will be one more upgrade being made to the wheat farm, but that is not until we have redstone. So, for today, we are going to be doing something new, and that is going to be making a sheep farm. And I just noticed I missed some of the materials from those dead chickens over here. Not sure how that happened. So yeah, that's our next step, is going to be working with sheep, and I will show you how that's all going to work. First, let's see. Going to need a bigger area than for the chicken farm, so I'm going to want it to go pretty far. So I might as well continue, finish clearing out the dirt along this area. And let's see. Goes all the way to here. Yeah, I might cut out when I do this, because this is going to take a bit of time. Although I guess I could try and find something to talk about while I'm doing it. Something like sheep, perhaps. So, the way that sheep work is, you know how with the chickens we had to lead them using seeds, and then that's the same thing you use to breed them? Well, with sheep, it's basically the exact same concept, except instead of seeds, you use wheat. And with most of the other animals, let's see, for cows, it's also wheat. For pigs, it's carrots, which is fortunate for me because I was able to find a village, and it wasn't too difficult for that. But if you don't have a village nearby, the only other way to get carrots is by killing zombies, and it's a very, very low chance of getting one from a dead zombie. So I was fortunate enough for that, so I can get a carrot farm going, and then I'll be able to get pigs pretty easily. But for now, the sheep follow you with wheat, so I'll just have to go find a few of them. And almost done here. I'll also be having to make a bunch more fence, of course, and my stupid my shovel ran out. Make a couple more here, and once again, I don't have any stone. Okay, I'll make another iron one, but I do really need to go get more cobblestone for these shovels because, like I said, I don't really want to be wasting my iron when stone shovels really are just as good, except you go through them faster. But don't worry, I'll be doing some mining probably this episode, but not on camera, and from that I will be getting plenty of stone. I'm gonna go drop these seeds off. And now I'm going to take some wheat, and you only need 1. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have it in your hand, they will follow you. But actually, I just realized I don't want to do that yet. I want to make the fenced-in area first so that I have somewhere to lead them. So I'm going to get rid of these torches. And it's very important to have grass when you make a sheep farm, and I will tell you why. But first, you need to go make a whole bunch of fence posts. So, you know what, I'm going to make another crafting table and leave it just out here somewhere, because that's going to be really annoying to keep having to go back into the house every time I want to make stuff. So I think I'll just put it right here in between these two farms. Again, it's good to have a few spaces in between, nice pathway. 3 is probably sufficient, but I like to do 4. So I'll just put that right there, and that'll make things a lot more convenient until, you know, I'm all the way down that way, because there are plenty of farms to be made yet. So, I'm going to use up the rest of this spruce, because I don't really need it, and I'm not growing spruce trees anymore, so that's that. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out how much fence I'm going to want. Obviously 60 is not enough. I'll just break down the rest of this stack of wood into planks, make a whole bunch of sticks here, because again, even if I don't use it all now, there's still going to be plenty of fence to be used later on. So I guess I'll just do that. and that. And there we go. Over a stack and a half. I'm not even sure that's going to be enough, but I think that's good enough to start. So yeah, let's start making this. I'll probably make it the same depth as the chicken farm. I am going to put the same 4-block gap, so we'll do that. And then continue on down here. And do I really need 2 spaces? Yeah, I guess I'll leave it there so stuff can't like jump in over here. Unless it's sprinting, which obviously the CPUs can't do, only I can sprint. So let's see, I think that's pretty darn good. Good, nice wide area, maybe not even quite that much. It doesn't need to be that huge, it's just, yeah, I'll make it a little bit smaller yet. Okay, I think, nah, I'll leave it right here. Okay, that should be sufficient. And the reason you want a nice big area for the sheep is because if you have a lot of them, they actually eat the grass on the ground, and that's how they regrow their wool. But even if you haven't sheared them, they will still eat it, so that's how that works. And whoops, wow, was that really exactly a full stack? That's amazing. Or no, it was the 40. Okay, so I didn't need nearly as many as I made, but that's okay. And I actually need 2 more for this thing, so I need to go make some more ladders, or I think I might actually have another one already stowed away, so I'm going to go in here and check that. There's my food stuff, and there we go, there's a ladder. And we have more, I still had a bunch more fence already in here, and a gate, but I don't really need the gate, just the fence. I guess I'll store this away, and try and remember it's here for next time when I make an animal farm, so that I don't have to make a bunch more fence when I already have all this stuff right here. So I do need to make one more ladder piece, and it's kind of unfortunate because you can, they come 3 at a time, but this way I'll have a perfect amount for the sheep farm and then 1 other. So that's good. I just realized, I'm going to get this so I don't have 2 different stacks of wood planks in my inventory eating up space. And I just realized I needed 2 fence posts to put on either side of this. Well, I don't need it, but it just makes it look a lot nicer. But I'll go back and do that later. So here we have this. And I need to eat. So I'll have a couple pieces of bread here. They heal 2.5 hunger bars there. And then I do need another chest as well. Put those away. I have all that dirt that I need to get rid of. And oh, it's raining. What do you know? And one thing about rain is it tends to be, okay, I have that one more slot over. I like to have things symmetrical and even, that's just me. The one thing about rain is that it's kind of loud and I have to talk over it, so I guess this is one other time that I will use the cheats. So, whoa, kind of awesome when there's thunder. I don't actually see that very often in Minecraft for some reason, but when it is there, it's cool, but unfortunately, okay, hang on. I don't know how to... Okay, there we go. Weather clear. Yeah, again, it's loud. I don't want to have to talk over it. The only things I use cheats for is stuff that makes the recording a bit, easier and just nicer for you guys to watch. I don't use it to inventory edit or gain materials or anything like that. So I'm just going to show you here. So we have a few more pumpkins. So I'm just going to harvest these up really quick, because that's pretty cool, starting to get some good harvest. And again, I did accidentally till these and I didn't need to. I only needed the middle rows, and so even though this is regular dirt, it can still get pumpkins on there. So that's the story behind that. Put that away. It's kind of annoying having that torch right there. I'll put it 1 space over so I can access the chest easier. And okay, there's a creeper there, and that's not good. We don't want him blowing our farms up, so I want to make sure I stay clear of that. And there's some zombie flesh. Obviously a zombie died here. Yeah, just kind of evenly spacing the torches out here. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. I'll do... Whoa, okay. That was weird. My computer just glitched out for a second. No harm done, though. Alright, so there we go with that. And now I'm going to open up just a couple spots here for when I lead the sheep back, and they can have access in here. And I got some nice Minecraft music going on. I'm just going to toss this off to the side because I don't really want it. So now that we have that built and it's full of grass, we can go out and take this wheat, and another pumpkin grew already, and go try and find some sheep. I think I remember there being a few up this hill over this way towards the the snowy biome. Can't remember what it's called. It's either tundra or taiga. Never know the difference between the two. And there's plenty of sheep here. Not sure how they're going to be able to get up these ledges, though. I might have to do some editing of the land here. I think that should be good. They can get up that. They can jump one step. So, see, hold the wheat and he follows me, just like the chickens did with the seeds. But if you do get too far away, they'll stop following you. So, I'm just going to leave these two guys here and go get these other ones. See, I got too far away and now they stopped following me, even though I'm still holding the wheat. So, it is once again becoming nighttime, and we don't want that. So, let's go ahead and do this. And let's see, we got 4 here and the 2 over there. That should be plenty for now. I will definitely be doing some breeding with these guys because there is a certain number of them that I want to have, and I'll tell you why and how all that works in a minute once I get them back to the farm. So as you can see, there's different colors. I think the most common is white. There's light gray, there can be dark gray, there can be black. I think there can also be the occasional brown, and I've heard from someone that they found a wild pink sheep, but I have never seen that myself. And there are a bunch of different colors of sheep you can get, but these are the only ones that you can find in the wild, is the white, the 2 shades of gray, the black, and the occasional brown. So anyways, just gonna ever so slowly lead these guys back. So that's the one thing, is you can't, even at normal walking speed, you're way faster than them. And like I said, if you get too far ahead of them, then they'll stop following you. So you kind of have to be careful. And also, if I happen to walk by any cows, they're probably going to start following me too, even though I don't necessarily want that yet, but that's okay. I can just roam around in the wild, and that'll be fine. If one of them wanders into the sheep farm, though, I might just kill it. And I do realize that... How did a zombie get on top? Oh, I guess he could jump up on the chest and up there. That doesn't really matter, though. But as I was going to say, I do realize that the fact that I have this chest here right next to the fence, something like a creeper could easily jump up on there and in. But I'm really not too worried about that, because it's not like it's going to harm the chickens of its own accord unless I'm nearby and it'll attack me. So really, it doesn't matter that much. The main purpose of the fence is just so that animals can't get out. I'm not worried about keeping anything else from coming in. So we got 4 of them in here. The other 2 are being a bit stubborn. Let's lead these guys into the far corner. And why are they not... That was weird. They randomly just turned around. Look. They just start walking the other way. I don't know what that was all about. But anyways, these guys are not following me anymore, so I need to get their attention again. Apparently these sheep are a bit bugged right now. Okay, only 3 of them are following me at this moment. That chest seems to be getting in their way and making them freak out. Okay, I got 5 of them again. Come on, dude. Buddy. Look, tasty wheat. Look, it's delicious. You want some, right? Come on, it's okay, don't be shy. You can all have some. Just get in here, and you'll get your fair share. Okay, there we go. Got them all in here. Gonna get that fence back into my inventory so I can switch away from the wheat and quickly go cover this back up. And there we go. Now we have a good 6 sheep in here, and the way it works is there are 16 different colored dyes that you can find / craft, make, lots of different ways to get them. And I'm just going to do some wheat harvesting because I need wheat to breed them. And basically what happens is if you breed 2 sheep together, then the baby has a 50-50 chance of being either color of the 2 parent sheep. And obviously if the 2 parents are the same color, then the baby will of course be that same color. And the cool thing is you can dye the wool after you shear it off the sheep, but you can only dye wool that came from a white sheep. If it's already another color, it can't be dyed. And then you have to use 1 dye for every piece of wool. But you can also use a single dye on a sheep itself. And then that sheep will stay that color, and even after you shear it, once it eats a patch of grass and regrows its wool back, then it'll stay that color forever. So basically, you can harvest white sheep and use 1 piece of dye per wool, or you can use 1 piece of dye on a sheep and get an infinite supply of wool of that color. And so the fact that there are 16 different colors, I want to have at least 16 sheep, so I can have at least 1 of every color, so I never have to worry about getting the dyes again. And because not all of the dyes are fully renewable. Most of them are, but there are some, like lapis lazuli, that comes directly from an ore in the ground, in mining, and there's only a limited number of it. So the idea is if you have 16 different sheep, one of each color, and then you can have more than one of each color if you want more than 16 sheep, but then you can never run out of wool of a given color, and you can just keep shearing it, and they will keep eating grass, regrowing. So let's see, you got 3 babies there from these 6 sheep, and even the babies, wait, 4 babies. How did I get 4 babies? Hang on a second. Think about that for a second. There are 6 full-grown sheep in here, so that's 3 pairs. So each pair makes a baby, and somehow I ended up with 4. Can they have twins? I wonder if there's actually a chance of them having twins. That's really interesting. But yeah, see how I just ate the grass right there? They just do that randomly. And if you have, here, I'll show you this. So if I take the shears and I can shear the wool off only the adult ones, you can also get wool by killing them, but you only get 1, whereas if you shear it, you can get up to like 3 or 4, and then they won't die and they can regrow it. So as you can see, they're all sheared and naked there, but then if they eat a patch of grass, that looked really funny, the babies, how its head like goes all the way down to the ground. I'll go ahead and put this wool in the chest while I'm waiting, and if one of the adults decides to eat a patch of grass, which I'm going to wait for a little bit longer here and see if I can catch that on camera, then they will instantly grow their wool back, and it will be the same color that they are. So once you dye them, or once they have a color from the wild, they are permanently that color. As you can see, one of the babies was gray, so there was only 1 gray sheep, so when the gray one bred with the white one, this baby had a 50-50 chance of being gray or white, and it got the gray gene. So yeah, that's the reason you want this to be nice and big, because otherwise, if you have a whole lot of sheep, I actually might need to expand it once I get a full 16 in here, given how fast they eat it. But if they eat the grass faster than it grows back, then eventually you'll have no dirt, and they can't eat it, and they can't regrow their wool. So they're not regrowing right now, so I'm just going to leave that alone, and you'll see eventually once we come back here, they'll have eaten it, and it will, they'll have their wool back. So I have plenty of extra wheat for breeding, and now I need to go get 2 more fence posts to finish up the decoration on that. And so the idea is I am actually going to go around and get all 16 dyes, and wait, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, put away the ladder, get 2 fence posts. And I'm not going to show that all on camera because some of them are pretty hard to find. I need to find a jungle biome for one of them. Like I said, lapis lazuli, that one's underground, only below layer like 32 or something like that, and it's pretty rare. And there's adults still aren't eating. I don't know what's up with that. I guess it's just random chance when they decide to eat grass. And for some reason, they're all staying migrated on that side of the fence, which is weird because their movement is supposed to be relatively random, but I'm sure they'll disperse eventually. Oh, there we go. See, he ate grass, and now he just popped, his wool just appeared again. So then we can go reharvest, and he will just forever be a white sheep until we dye him. And you know how I said that with wool you can dye white, you can only dye white wool if it's a different color, then it stays that color. With sheep you can re-dye them as many times as you want to. You can take a pink sheep and you can dye it orange if you want. So let's see. I have my list of all the dyes here because there are, like I said, 16. And a few of them I can get right now without having to cut out, one of which is bone meal. So if you just take bones, and let's see, I'll just use all of them because you can mix it to make other dyes. Put a bone in the crafting square and you get bone meal, 3 for each bone. And bone meal can be used as a white dye, and it has another use though, which is to grow things. So if you have a sapling here, you can go ahead and use bone meal on it, and look, a tree pops up. And it can also be used on the wheat and pretty much anything else that grows. Like, it can be used on the pumpkin stems to help them grow, but once they're fully grown, you can't use it to make pumpkins. So see, use it and little sparkles come out. It used to be that 1 bone meal would instantly grow anything. It would take wheat from this lowest stage all the way up, excuse me, into fully grown wheat ready to harvest. Any sapling, 1 bone meal, right click, it popped into a tree. But now it has a chance of taking anywhere from like 1 to 4 pieces or even more, something like that. So there we go, that one only took 2, now it's fully grown. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing is you can use it on just open grass like this. Like if there's none of this tall grass, you can just use bone meal and tall grass will grow, and also flowers. And this makes the flowers renewable. And guess what? The flowers are also a source of dye. So you can get yellow flowers. I think I already have a bunch of those in there in my chest though. And you can also get red flowers. And those can be crafted into dyes. So I'm going to go see if I can, yeah, there's a few more red flowers up here. I think they're dandelions and roses actually. So that's pretty cool. Just going to harvest a few of these. and then I'll show you how that works, going back down to the crafting table. Actually, I'll get a few more yellow flowers, dandelions, so I don't have to go back into the house, so I can just use the crafting table right outside here. And it's starting to rain again, which is, like I said, loud. So even though I enjoy the Minecraft weather, and it's actually really one of my favorite features of the game that makes it just seem a lot more real, for recording purposes, it can be a bit annoying. So I'm going to eat some bread really quick here. And now you take a rose, put it in the crafting square, just all by itself, and you get rose red dye. And the same thing with the dandelions, you get dandelion yellow. And then you can mix these. So you can take, I'll just do a couple here. You can take rose red and dandelion yellow and mix them, and there you get orange dye. And then you can also take bone meal and rose red, and then you get pink. So that's pretty cool. Lots of different dyes you can get. There's 5 of them right off the bat, and I think that's all I can make right now with the ones that I have. I don't think you can mix the yellow and the white. No, that's about it. So there's 5 of them, and now what I'm going to do is go around to the different places, and it's starting to be nighttime once again. Different places I need to go to find the other different dyes. So I'm just going to go out and start getting the raw materials I need because, let's see, I have bone meal, roses, dandelions, and there are 4 other natural sources of dyes, and once I get those 4, then the rest is just mixing and matching to make the rest of the different colors. So I will cut out and come back when I am about to get the next one, so see you guys then. Okay, so here we have squids, which can be found in pretty much any water source throughout the game. They just randomly spawn, and they are a source of dye, and they're pretty creepy looking, but they don't attack you, so you just go up and hit them with your sword a couple times, and they drop ink sacs, which can be used as black dye and also can be mixed with other colors to make darker versions of those. So I'm going to go around and just kill a couple more, get maybe like 10 ink sacs so I have plenty to work with. But like I said, you really only need 1 of each dye, because once you use it on the sheep, then it'll forever regrow that color wool, and so you never have to worry about it again, unless of course you want to get more sheep and dye them, so you don't have to wait for like a single pink sheep to keep regrowing its wool in order to get a whole bunch of pink wool. So you want a lot of it at once. You know, it takes a while to collect it that way. So anyways, there's ink sacs. Those can be used. I'll just show it right now, the ones you can do. So if you mix bone meal and ink sacs directly, you get gray dye. And then if you mix the gray again with bone meal, then you get light gray dye. And I think you can, whoops, I didn't mean to make that many. I think you can make dark gray too. No, okay, that's it. But I do want to make just one more because I like to have a few of each color. I don't know why. I am going to need more bone meal though, just because there's, you use it for mixing with a lot of different colors. So let's see. Yeah, that's all we can do for now. So I will cut back in when I have found the next source of dye. See you guys then. Alright, so here we have a jungle, which is going to be a very important biome as it's the source of a couple different things we're going to be farming, one of which we are looking for right now. And it's interesting because it's something that can be farmed directly, and it's also a dye. There's a couple instances of that, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about if you know much about this game. And here it is, cocoa beans. These grow only on the sides of jungle trees. And so because of that, I'm also going to be chopping down a few of these jungle trees and trying to get some saplings so that I can have those be a renewable resource, so that I can have the logs when I go to farm the cocoa beans myself. But for now, we only want them as a dye. So you can just break these with your hand. I'll be going over these in more detail later when, like I said, we're farming them ourselves. But for now, I'm just going to break a few of these and get a good few. And obviously, I'm going to make sure I save a couple for when I want to farm them. I think this is actually, yeah, this dye isn't mixed with anything. So it's just straight brown dye, nothing else to it. And for some reason, there's an apple just sitting up there. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. You see that? I'm not sure why leaves would be decomposing on their own. But anyways, like I said, I'm going to chop some of this down. And I might just, I don't know if I really need to grow it. I could just chop the logs themselves and just use that. But it would be nice to get at least a couple saplings, so I'm just going to break some of these leaves down here. And it was interesting how I found this jungle, because I was actually looking for something different that only appears in desert biomes. And, okay, that was apparently, those leaves were from that oak tree right next door. And is it starting to be nighttime again already? Yeah, I had to fly around for a while, and I was looking for something that only appears in the desert biome, like I said, and I couldn't find it at all because that desert biome that I told you about, where I've been getting my sand, turned out to not actually be a desert biome. It was a beach biome, which I didn't even know was a thing. I thought it was just any place there was sand was considered a desert, but I guess they've, in the past months, or however long it's been since I played this game before starting this tutorial series, they did some mixing around with the biomes and added some new ones, made them more specific. So far, not really getting any saplings, which is kind of unfortunate, and for the setup for the cocoa bean farm, which I'll be doing in the future, I don't remember exactly how many logs I need, so I might just come back for that so that I don't have to take up too much of your time here. So yeah, that over there, I was following that along forever because I thought I would be able to find something that I need there for a different dye, but it turns out I was wrong. And there's more horses here, which is pretty cool. But at any rate, there we have brown dye from the cocoa beans, and this one is just used directly, which is interesting. So you apparently just put cocoa beans in a sheep's wool and it dyes it brown. So there's that. And there are still 2 more dyes of the natural sources of dyes that I need to find, so I will see you guys when I get the next one. Okay, well I have not finished finding the last 2 natural sources of dye, but I decided to just come back to the house road to touch base, and there was another wild sheep roaming around, so I thought I'd lure that into the pen with the others and do some breeding. And also, come on. I'll just show you my inventory here in a sec. I got some other stuff. Alright, come on. Hop over the chest. You can do it. Come on. Get in here. Get in here. It's just a fence. You're on top of the chest. You can do it. You can do it, sheepy. I believe in you. Okay, really? Really? I'm gonna have to do this for you. Okay, come on. There we go. Good sheep. Okay, so as you can see in my inventory, it started to rain, and so some skeletons came out, and I killed them to get some extra bones for bone meal, and I did take the time to get 4 jungle saplings, and the reason I wanted at least 4 is something that you will find out in a later episode when I do that. So now I gotta get that away and go quickly replace the fence, and I'll do some breeding, get some more sheep here, get this party going. See how many I'll get. I'm not entirely sure how many I have right now. I'll probably have about 16 by now already. But at any rate, there's also something else I noticed that I wanted to show you guys because it was very interesting that this was, that I found this. So I was flying around trying to find a desert because that is one of the 2 places that I need to go to find the last 2 natural sources of dye. And I was going over this way because I hadn't really explored much in this direction. And what do you know? There's a village right here, and the other one was so far away. So I just thought I'd show that there happens to be a village right here that I can use for trading and stuff, and villagers, when I decide to farm them, yes, I will be farming people in the future. So this is just right here, and I could have gotten carrots and potatoes much easier. But anyways, I just thought this was interesting, and so now I will cut out once more and attempt to find an actual desert that is not just a beach full of sand that I thought was the same as a desert. So, see, it's so weird how they like make noises and kind of talk. That didn't used to be there. Anyways, yeah, I will see you guys then when I find a desert. Okay, so I decided to give up on searching for the desert for a while because that's the drawback to the large biomes is that, yeah, sure, it gives me a nice big area to have really big wide open plains for my farm, but at the same time it takes forever to get through one biome and find the next. But anyways, I decided to take a break from that and come down and find a cave, and this is just branching off from that cave behind the farmhouse, and there's plenty of resources here, got some good iron and some more coal, and there's gold here, which is cool, but I don't really need it for anything. But the thing I was looking for is right here, and this is lapis lazuli. And so this, like I said, I think it only occurs in layers 32 and below, and I'm at 16, which is cool, which means I could also be finding diamond, but I doubt I'm going to get that. So anyways, just harvest this, and it's like redstone, you get anywhere between like 4 to 8, and this is used directly as blue dye, and you can see I got quite a lot from that. And I did also get some redstone while I'm down here because we are going to be using plenty of that in later episodes with making the farms more automatic and stuff. So now we got plenty of lapis lazuli. I think I also saw some more over here. You know, I might as well get the gold just in case there's something I decide I want it for, so, you know, I'll have it with me. Really no reason not to. I mean, I have the inventory space for it. Yeah, here's some more lapis right here. and there's a bunch of lava there, and I guess there's a possibility of being diamonds down here, and I might spend a little bit of time looking for them. There's some more redstone over there too, but for now, basically that's it. There we go, lapis lazuli. That is, let's see, there are 7, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, there's 7 natural sources of dye, and I now have 6 of them. So the last one to get is cactus, which I need a desert for, and if/when I eventually find that, I will see you guys then. Armageddon cactus! Yes, I finally found it. Guys, you have no idea how long it took me to find this desert. Okay, look at how far away I am. Look at the coordinates. That's just insane. This desert was so far away. But anyways, finally here, and I can finally get cactus. And apparently I forgot to switch my game mode back after I was done flying, so sorry about that. Finally, the cactus is here. So I'm just going to collect a whole bunch of this, and this is another resource that I will be farming and showing you guys how to do that later. But it is also a source of dye. So you can't use it as is. You don't just stab a sheep with a cactus and all of a sudden it turns green. But I'll show you how that works. And now I'm going to have to use a different cheat again because I'm so far away. It would just be insane to go all the way back there, and really there's no reason to. All it does is waste time. So again, I know I'm using cheats quite a bit, but I'm not using them to get any resources or anything, so I hope that's alright with you guys. And just so, let's see. I'm not sure about the height. I'm hoping 64 will be okay, and then it's at, what was it, like negative 2650. Let's try that out. And, oh crap, okay, that's not good. Let's see. Hopefully I can dig my way out of here. Okay, cool. So, that wasn't high enough, unfortunately. But hopefully I can just dig my way out of here. Because again, it would have taken so much longer to get there if I actually, even by flying, it would have taken like 20 minutes to get back here. And I'm in the middle of the tree farm, that's okay. I'm just gonna cover that up. And then fill this back in with dirt. And here we are. Okay. So that ordeal is finally done with, and now we can just go in here, and I started cooking up all the rest of that sand I'd gotten from earlier. So what you do is you just put the cactus, well I'm not going to do it with all of it, I'll just do, I don't know, 5, and you cook it actually, and that will make the dye. And so I'll put this in here, and I also am putting like valuable resources in here, not just the dyes, or not just the plant materials, also got the jungle saplings there. So here we have cactus green. So now we have all the materials we need to make the rest of the dyes. So we have the bone meal, the rose red, the yellow, the orange, the lapis lazuli, the cactus green, the cocoa beans, and the ink sacs. And then we also made gray and light gray, the orange, pink. So let's see what else we can do here. We can make, let's see, what else can I do? Oh yeah, well we can make cyan by mixing cactus green and lapis lazuli. So we get a couple of those. And then, I know there's other ones. Oh yeah, well let's get the rest of this out. I think you can mix green and bone meal, yeah, and that gets you lime dye. And let's see, there's 16, that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 3 more I'm missing here. Oh, well, of course, mix lapis lazuli and rose red to get purple. And I'm going to make a couple of those, because then you take purple and pink, and that gets you magenta. And for the last one, or is that it? Hang on, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I am still missing one. Light blue. Okay, mix lapis lazuli and, of course, bone meal. And there you get light blue. So that is now all 16 dyes that can be made in the game right there. And now comes the part that you wouldn't expect to be hard, but actually is. So let's head back over to the sheep farm here. And as you can see, I did decide to expand it a little bit. I did some breeding, so now I have 16 sheep. I did make it a little bit bigger because they take up a lot of space. And I added this little thing also on the chicken farm just to make it a bit easier to get in and out, so you just jump up on this. So now is the part... Oh, that one's not fully grown yet. Well, hopefully it will be by the time I'm done with this, because I don't think you can dye the babies. Oh, well, what I'll do is I'll just leave that as the white one. so I won't be using bone meal because that one's already white. Let's get some room in my inventory so I can have a few of these out at once. Actually, I'm going to do this with all of it because the problem, what makes this actually difficult, is the fact that they move around, and it makes it actually really hard to get all of them dyed. So I have 16 sheep, 16 dyes, so let's get this started. Again, so I'll show you how this works. You just right-click on it with a dye, and there you go. Now it's brown. So we'll get red, orange, cyan, lime, light blue, lapis, magenta, and I'm wondering if these ones are already light gray. They are. Okay, so gotta quickly do this so I can try and at least attempt to keep track of them all. Okay, we want a gray. That one's already light gray. Black, green, yellow, pink, and magenta, or purple. Okay, I think I got them all. Hang on, let me go up here and take a look. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All different colors. That's light gray, gray, black, white. All the rest are different. We got magenta, purple, and pink. The cyan and the light blue are really similar. But anyways, there we go. So now we have 16 different colored sheep, and therefore we have infinite supply, basically, of every colored wool that exists in the game, and I think that's a pretty useful thing to have. So that's the way I do that. Hang on, let me just finish organizing my stuff here, and then I'll probably stow all the rest of these dyes away somewhere. I might make the second chest, one for the wools, one for the dyes. I'm not sure. But anyways, you can go around and see. So now if I shear these, I can get orange wool and pink wool and red wool and all that. And it stays, like I said, they stay dyed once they eat and regrow their wool. So now we can stow all this away, all these different colors. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. You can obviously breed them and make more, and like I said, like if I were to breed, say, the magenta one and the black one, the baby would have a 50-50 chance of being either magenta or black. And so you can breed them and get more sheep of the same color. You can make sure you have enough dyes and then temporarily dye them like all purple if you need a bunch of purple wool for something. I don't know. But there you have it. So sheep farm is now complete. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all these dyes. Like I said, I might make a second chest and put them in there. So that concludes this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Please give the video a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.